The internet erupted the moment the newest behind-the-scenes footage for Season 2 of Are You Sure? Leaked, and for a few minutes no one could tell whether they were watching actual spoilers or an elaborate fandom fever dream. Yet as the video spread across platforms like wildfire, one thing became crystal clear. Whatever happened during the Yut Nori competition between Jimin and Jungkook was not just chaotic, it was monumental. The fandom hadn't seen this level of unfiltered energy between the two since before enlistment, and it felt like witnessing a long-lost spark returning right in front of their eyes. It wasn't just content, it was a full-blown Jikook comeback disguised as a traditional Korean board game. The footage opened in the most harmless way. The room looked cozy, relaxed, and filled with that familiar vibe of comfortable chaos that only happens when Jimin and Jungkook share the same space. It was the kind of atmosphere that made people nostalgic, the kind that immediately pulled fans back to their favorite variety moments. Then the camera panned to Jungkook, who was already wearing that mischievous smile, the smile that usually signals impending disaster. Jimin, on the other hand, looked suspiciously calm, though anyone who had followed their dynamic for years knew that Jimin's calm usually hid something far more dangerous. The moment the Yut Nori sticks hit the table, the entire tone of the video shifted. Jungkook instantly became competitive, leaning forward with that intense focus he usually reserved for dancing or games he desperately wanted to win. Jimin watched him closely, lips curled in amusement, as if he had already predicted the exact moment the chaos would begin. Their energy bounced off each other so naturally that it almost felt scripted, except it wasn't. It was them, raw, playful, and absolutely unpredictable. The first round didn't go well for Jungkook. His throw was terrible and the game piece barely moved. Jimin burst into laughter, a bright, high-pitched laugh that echoed through the room and hit Jungkook straight in the ego. Jungkook tried to brush it off, but his smile twitched, revealing a mix of embarrassment and determination. He insisted on a rethrow, even though the rules clearly didn't allow it, and Jimin immediately started teasing him about cheating. There was a spark in Jungkook's eyes that fans recognized. A spark that only ever appeared when Jimin was the one provoking him. The two bantered effortlessly, slipping into that old rhythm as if no time had passed at all. Then came the moment that sent the fandom spiraling. Jimin took his turn, and with one smooth motion that looked almost too elegant for such a chaotic game, he landed the best throw of the entire match. Jungkook's jaw dropped dramatically as he stared at the board, then at Jimin, then back at the board as if the universe had betrayed him personally. Jimin didn't even try to hide his satisfaction. He leaned back, crossed his arms and whispered, "I guess I'm just better." It was a simple sentence, but the tone, felt like a direct attack on Jungkook's pride. Jungkook reacted instantly, reaching over to tickle Jimin's side in retaliation. Jimin yelped, wiggling away, trying to swat Jungkook's hand, but both ended up laughing so loudly that staff behind the camera couldn't help but laugh too. The chaos escalated when Jungkook accused Jimin of using witchcraft to win, dramatically reenacting Jimin's throw in slow motion while adding exaggerated mystical sound effects. Jimin laughed so hard he had to cover his mouth, his shoulders shaking as Jungkook performed an over-the-top parody of him. Fans watching the leaked footage immediately clipped the scene, posting it everywhere with captions like, "Jikook actually married? And this is not a game. This is a battle for honor and affection." The fandom exploded, and it only got worse when Jungkook challenged Jimin to a rematch, declaring he wouldn't lose, twice in front of the love of his, before cutting himself off abruptly. The room erupted into screams. Jungkook hid his face, Jimin turned pink, and the internet broke in half trying to interpret what exactly Jungkook meant. The intensity wasn't just in their interactions. It was in the way they looked at each other between turns, in the way their shoulders brushed when they leaned in the way Jungkook absent-mindedly fixed a loose thread on Jimin's sleeve, not even realizing fans would pause and screenshot it 1,000 times. The familiarity between them was undeniable, the kind of closeness that didn't need explanation. Even the staff, who usually stayed quiet, were caught smiling in the background, clearly entertained by the whirlwind happening in front of them. Halfway through the game, an unexpected twist occurred. One of Jungkook's pieces was on the verge of elimination, and he threw the sticks with such force that they bounced off the table and landed near the camera staff. Everyone froze, then burst into laughter. Jimin pretended to scold him like an exasperated partner dealing with a hyperactive child. Jungkook, laughing and flustered, ran across the room to pick up the sticks like a guilty puppy. When he returned to the game board, Jimin reached out and patted his head, teasing him for overreacting as usual. Jungkook melted instantly, his ears turning red, a sight fans hadn't seen in a long time. It was soft, it was chaotic, and it was so undeniably them. Then came the final round, the round that would ignite the biggest wave of speculation. The score was close, the tension high, and Jungkook was determined to win. He leaned forward, took a deep breath, and threw the sticks with such laser-focused seriousness that even Jimin paused to watch. The sticks hit the table, spun, and landed in one of the rarest winning positions. Jungkook screamed triumphantly, jumped up, and immediately ran toward Jimin, grabbing the older by the shoulders and shaking him excitedly. Jimin yelped, laughing uncontrollably, and in the midst of the excitement, Jungkook pulled him into a spontaneous hug. It wasn't quick or awkward. It was tight, warm, and lasted longer than any casual victory hug should. The fandom lost its collective mind. That single hug sparked an explosion of theories. Were Jimin and Jungkook teasing fans? Was this genuine? Was this their soft comeback moment disguised as a variety segment? Clips spread so fast that Disney Plus had to start taking down leaked videos, but by then the damage, or rather the delight, had already been done. Fans had their evidence, their screenshots, their slow motions, and their breakdown threads analyzing the micro-expressions on their faces. What made the moment even more interesting was that after pulling away from the hug, Jungkook held Jimin's wrist for a second longer, as if reluctant to let go. Jimin noticed, smiled shyly, and nudged him lightly. The two exchanged a look so subtle yet so charged that fans immediately labeled it the look that launched Season 2 into chaos. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't staged. It was simply a moment. One of those fleeting but powerful interactions that reminded everyone why Jimin and Jungkook had always been such a dynamic duo. The leaked footage ended abruptly, cutting off just as Jimin was about to say something under his breath while still laughing. Fans debated endlessly about what he might have said, dissecting lip movements and audio glitches, trying to translate half-heard breaths into full sentences. Some were convinced he whispered a congratulations. Others insisted he teased Jungkook about hugging him too tightly. But the most popular theory, because this fandom is who they are, was that Jimin said something soft, something dangerously close to affectionate. Disney Plus didn't comment on the leak, but their silence only fueled speculation. Some fans believed the leak was intentional, a marketing tactic to reignite excitement for Season 2. Others argued it was an accidental slip that revealed too much. Regardless of the truth, one undeniable fact emerged. The Yut Nori competition had become the most talked-about moment of the entire season, even before its official release. For the fandom, especially longtime Jikook supporters, the leak felt like a blast from the past blended with a new spark. Mature, comfortable, and filled with the kind of chaotic energy that made people fall in love with their dynamic in the first place. It was a reminder of what made their interactions so captivating. The competitiveness, the teasing, the comfort, the unspoken understanding, the soft moments hidden within the noise. It was the Jikook formula but upgraded, richer, deeper, and even more unfiltered. When the official episode drops, the reaction will probably be even bigger. But for now, the fandom is content replaying every frame, every glance, every accidental spoiler. The Yut Nori match wasn't just a game. It was a spark. A signal. A chaotic, laughter-filled announcement that whatever Season 2 brings, Jimin and Jungkook are ready to shake the internet once again. And the world, every corner of it, is more than ready.